Dear colleagues and friends, first of all, I would like to thank you for the unique possibility to participate in this conference and being able to tell you about our dire situation here in Ukraine. And also, I would like to express a deep gratitude to the big friends of Ukraine who invited me here. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Professor Anton Volosovets, head of the Department of Emergency Medicine of Shupyk National University of Healthcare of Ukraine and Vice President of Ukrainian Association of Emergency Medics. And today, I would like to tell you about the specific features of working in our medical system here in Ukraine at the time of war. Time of constant assaults, bombardments, and terror from the Russian forces here in the middle of the Europe. This war has been identified as the most big and terrible war conflict since the Second World War, and our society and our medical system suffered much from it. It is known that from the beginning of this war, there were damaged more than 1,000 of our hospitals, including pediatric hospitals and obstetrics clinics. Russian terrorists doesn't make any difference in their attempts to genocide of Ukrainian people. People don't like numbers, they like stories. And unfortunately, I have plenty of them. As an example of my previous words, I may recall my colleague Kirill Vinskovsky, obstetrics gynecologist who was forced to save his pregnant patients by taking them into shelter and received the deliveries from them for 3 weeks under the constant bombardment of our obstetrics hospital in Kiev at the beginning of the war. 122 hospitals were utterly destroyed and cannot be rebuilt. Also, we could not forget about hospitals on territories which are currently occupied by enemy. There are currently more than 600 of them now there. And due to the cruel nature of Russian troops, they forbid our medics who have left there to save lives of civilian people. Instead, they're forcing our doctors to treat only their medical personnel and military personnel, leaving our people to suffer and die without medical help. And I don't mention about constant threats or even tortures of those medics who is denying to cooperate with Russian occupants. In every liberated city or village, we have found facts and evidences about usage of torture chambers by Russian sadists. We are in a constant grief about our losses. Only by official data that we have for now, from the beginning of war, 25 medics have died and 61 medics have been injured during their work. Civilian medics. Quantity of doctors who have died as civilian casualties after bombardments is still unknown. My classmate from university, Surgeon Vitaly Shupyk, was killed alongside with his wife, which was the nurse from the hospital, and their 3-year-old child, their daughter, during the Russian attack on the village of Borodyanka at the beginning of war. Statistical information about casualties of our military personnel is classified, but for now it is known that we have lost approximately 10,000 of our soldiers. For each 100 of the soldiers, we have at least one battle medic. Just imagine our losses of the military medical personnel. My colleague and friend Artem Sakhan was a battle medic on the front line from the beginning of the war. He was killed by Russian troops 2 weeks ago. We have thought that the people and vehicles under the insignia of Red Cross should be untouchable. Pretty much all civilized world thinks so, but not Russians. From the beginning of the war, Russian troops have attacked and damaged 355 ambulances, and 85 ambulances were completely destroyed, often with the patients and medics inside. Apparently, Red Cross is not a protection, but a priority target for the Russian soldiers. Russian missile and drone attacks are cutting out our medical supplies and burning out our power plants. That makes a providing of medical help much more complicated. Even now, as I speak and record this presentation, our country is under massive missile and drone attack from the territories of Russia, Belarus, and our territories, which are currently occupied by Russian troops. Total economic losses of our medical system has reached more than $20 billion. And these losses are continuing to increase every day. Poverty and financial losses have touched more than 80% of our people. Medical system and its workers are inseparable from the society in general, and this war has a grave impact on our society too. You may see that poverty touches nearly everyone in our country. Losses in finances, losses in salaries, losses of the jobs, losses of the houses, losses of the vehicles which were burned or bombed or blown. Losses of the things which made our life easier and allows us to live in civilized society. For every second Ukrainian has experienced temporary or constant loss of contact with his dear ones. Some of them have reunited already, and some of them could not be reunited. Never. Also, it is clear that such grave conditions have a grave impact on health of our society. Every second Ukrainian has experienced psychological disorders, at least some elements of PTSD, and every second Ukrainian also has experienced some problems with physical health, like exacerbation of chronic diseases or some acute processes which also could not be treated properly during the times of war because of limitation of our medical supplies, of our medics, of our personnel, of our drugs, and etc., etc. In conclusion, I would like to bring you for your attention the fact that we are all witnessing not the local territorial conflict, but the beginning of the World War. Because Russian nuclear terrorism and nuclear threats are to all civilized world is the best proof of my words. And do not make any mistake and think that Ukraine is only one target for the mad Russian imperialism. It is only the beginning of rebuilding a new Soviet geopolitical monster. Please do not get tired of this war, because if we fall, who knows who could be the next target. This is the building of my university, which was under attack of Russian troops at the beginning of their invasion. Missile attack was hit mostly all windows from out there, and Russian terrorist groups were invaded and sighted there until our troops have kicked them out. This is our reality here and our life. I would like to thank you again for your help and support. And I hope to encourage you to help us further in this global turmoil. Because divided, we fell, but united, we stand. Please stand for Ukraine. Thank you. Slava Ukraini.